What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys having a good start to the week. Happy Monday. Got some pretty important news here today. We do have the April Titan event starting up today. Ace Report Titan event. We got the first couple of events going on. Got the Dungeon Diver and a Turn Attack Fire Knight tournament happening right here. And the first week's schedules is released right now. We went over that a little bit yesterday. And we do have CBC happening in about 20 hours. If you guys are around on YouTube, I will be streaming CBC near the beginning of it. So make sure you guys drop on by. It's non-personal reward, so we're just going to be taking it easy. But in today's video, we're going to talk about a little bit of news here that Plarium had to address right away. And it's going to be right here. So it says, please note, Raiders, April's nullify debuff can currently be applied to bosses, which is not intended behavior, as bosses are meant to be immune to the nullify effect. We'll be adding the nullify debuff to the list of boss immunities in the near future, and we'll keep you informed once this change goes live. So what does this actually refer to? So a couple days ago, Ash released this video about the Fire Knight, showing how April's nullify debuff actually causes the Fire Knight to not bring his shield back up. The text on the nullify debuff says that champions can't activate their skills. Well, it kind of works for the Fire Knight, but obviously having this debuff applied to bosses can cause some issues, so it didn't seem like it was going to be something that would stick around. So Ash, correctively assumed that it was probably a glitch. You can kind of see here, watch the animation of the Fire Knight. It does look like a glitch, but we didn't know if it was just an animation glitch or if this was intended. You can kind of see there that the Fire Knight did his slam and then the shield did not come back up.
Legacy,
so the
shield
remains
I hate to say it,
down.
It's pretty damn glitchy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
kind of see here, he kind of stutters a little bit. We'll watch it
almost
again.
every boss in the game, right? All the Doom Tower bosses that I have available to me right now.
You guys missed it, but there you go. Slam, and then the shield never comes back up.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not doing anything.
So that's kind of how it was working. Thanks to Ash for that video. But yeah, it's good. Plarium announced this right away at the start of April's Titan event, so now we know exactly what we're dealing with. A lot of people brought this to my attention. I brought it to Plarium's attention right away. Obviously, it's the weekend, so then we didn't get a response, but I like that on the first day of the week, and then right as the Titan event is starting, that they did address this, because this kind of debuff working on the bosses was actually a big positive for April, and a very big reason for a lot of people to go for her. But now that they addressed it right away at the start, saying that this will not work, definitely is good. It's helpful to know, of course, better than knowing at the end of the events, but it does devalue her quite a bit. All right, so now you guys know that. Make sure you guys reassess what you guys want to do about April accordingly. All right, and the second bit of news here is we do have some progressive event news happening for CBC. This is pretty standard stuff. Let's take a look at it. I highly suggest you guys basically do not open your shards for anything and wait for the upcoming Heroes Path that's going to happen at the end of the week on the weekend. Almost certainly it will be consisting of shards, and almost certainly there will be a guaranteed champion in it, most likely Leonardo. But nevertheless, there is a couple progressive events happening in the next 2 days. Let's take a look at this here. On day one, we have Loseth, Calvalax, Mad Hatter, White Queen Ancora, Gaia True Shield. We have Night King here, or White King, and then we got Georgid and Hegemon. So we got a pretty good stack of champions here on day one. Obviously, Hatter has been really strong, especially for Titus and Wixwell teams. Calvalax and Hegemon are still very decent for like Live Arena as counter picks. I use Ancora quite a bit in Live Arena as well. Without King Narcisse, but together they're still very strong. And Losen here is the faction unity champion. Seems like the theme here is Night Revs. I'm not too sure, but here we go. Losen. So this guy is super annoying when you fight him in the faction wars. He's in the hard faction wars. He has this ability here, Spirit Calculus. It's super annoying. It's like it totally levels the HP and turn meter, and then it reduces the HP and turn meter as well for your enemies. It's very powerful. It's on a 5-turn cooldown. It's a pretty long cooldown ability. Pretty cool passive here as well, obviously, with getting better with each faction ally. When attacked, he places fear. He has a chance to activate an instant turn. He can ignore defense effects are decreased by 100%, so he's super tanky as well. He's a defense-based damage dealer. And yeah, he works pretty well with the Night Revs. Like I said, we also have Calvalax up for grabs here on day one. The big thing about him is that he places 4 poisons. If you use him in the arena, you give him the poison relic, and then you give him the poison blessing, and then his poisons start doing a lot of damage per tick. Very hard for you to survive 4 of these poisons. Yeah, doing like 50, 60,000 tick. Obviously, you give him as much attack as possible because the relic scales off of the attack that he has. But yeah, he's really, really solid for that role. He's good for getting speed teams. Unless you have Stone Skin, you can't really stop the poisons. So he's pretty cool. We got Mad Hatter here. He was, Fusion not too long ago, I think, maybe around Christmas time. But yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's really good. Some people thought he was going to be bad, and now that's not right. This guy's really good. 3-turn Hex Weaken with the join and attack. We all know those are really good. And then he has the duration increase. Really strong. His pass was actually really good too. A little bit of healing here. He's shown his worth in Titus teams. Very, very good. With those teams where you need the buff extension, you need the Hex, you need the weekend. So very, very strong champion for those comps. White Queen and Cora here. Speed in all battles. Best thing about her, I think, is probably her passive. Her passive prevents the champion with the highest crit damage from basically getting CC'd. She absorbs the CC instead. She also has a really cool revive here, resetting all skills and then giving really high turn meter so they can get a chance to get an attack in. Brings a cleanse, and then she has an A1 chance to reset random allies' abilities, which can be pretty strong as well. Like I said, I use her outside of outside of her duel with King Narcisse, and she's still very solid. Then after that, we have Gaeth True Shield. I did playtest her a little bit. She has a ability, I guess, similar to Taros, scales off buffs, but she just doesn't hit that hard. She brings a lot of buffs herself. You kind of see here 4 buffs herself. So you could kind of place her with like a protection set or something, and then maybe give your team some extra damage like that. But she's supposed to be a damage dealer herself, but she just doesn't hit hard enough, unfortunately. So I haven't found too much use for her. And then onto the Void, Night Revs, we have Night King, White King, sorry, Narcisse. Narcisse is very strong. Big AoE attack here. Ignores passives and masteries. This is really strong at like killing champions that are hard to kill. For example, like Rotos, you can just one-shot him, for example. Yeah, really, really big ability here. And he works really well with White Queen and Cora because he gets an extra turn on his A3 when he kills somebody. And also White Queen's A1 will reset White King instead of a random ally. So it's really, really good. Really high base stats here. 24k for an HP based nuker is quite nice. After that, we have Georgid. Georgid here, Stone Skin Breaker. Right? Got an A3 here. It goes through Stone Skin, Strengthen, Unkillable Block Damage, Increase Defense, Ally, Protection, and Shield. Extra turn if he kills an enemy. Very, very strong ability. Single target kill here. His passive is also very powerful. Unfortunately, there's only 50% chance for this champion to ignore 50% of the target's defense. So it's hit or miss sometimes, but when it goes off, obviously it's massive. 50 ignore defense, huge. And then this cheeky little turn meter drop is actually pretty nice too on the 2. A1 has a chance to repeat attack, very good at killing champions that need multi hits to kill. Georgia hits, pretty good, especially when the passive goes off. He has good base attack here as well. He's pretty squishy, but that's kind of one of those complaints that applies to a lot of damage dealers. But for him, he's Void Affinity for a damage dealer, very strong, and yeah, he can go through Stone Skin and all this annoying stuff, which is very, very good. Then the last champion for day 1, we have Hegemon. Hegemon coming in here. He takes the turn first. He's always obviously very good in live arena, for example, if you're going up against speed teams. Yeah, I find that Stone Skin is still pretty meta, so it's really hard to take Hegemon or Cavalax if you intend them to go up against teams without any Stone Skin. Unless you know that it's like a pure speed team, then Hegemon and Cavalax are very, very threatening, but otherwise it's a bit of a risk, right? His A1 has a bit of decreased speed, multi-hits. It's not a 100% chance, unfortunately. So a lot of times you just come in with his big AoE and then try to kill a bunch of guys. I have my Hegemon built with the relic that has a chance to steal buffs, which is kind of nice. So you come in, you splash the enemies with your big AoE, and you hope to land the debuffs, and then you hope to steal some Stone Skin or whatever off their team. 10% chance irresistible, that relic or whatever. But yeah, Hegibot, I don't know. He seems pretty good. You still see him with a little bit of play here in live arena. And yeah, he'll be up for grabs on day one. So that's day one in terms of progressive champions. Looks like the feature is Night Revs. Now we're going on to day two. Day two looks like the feature is going to be demon spawns related. So right now we have one of the best demon spawns in the whole game. We have Volcanos. Volcanos, super good faction unity champion here for demon spawn. I would love to get this guy. He's very, very powerful in live arena. His HP burns are absolutely devastating on like high blessing Volcanos, dealing lots of damage every time you buff up or get turn meter. It's actually pretty nuts. He's also very hard to kill as he gains damage reduction in his kit as well. He also can ignore all of this stuff: stone skin, unkillable ally protection, block damage, and shield. When the target's under HP burn, is very, very nasty. And then his HP burns cannot be resisted. He'll gain more ignore defense as well. And then he also places block revive, which is really, really nasty. So Volcanos, slow against buff heavy enemies. Yeah, he's just gonna rip them up even if they're in stone skin. The HP burn is just crazy, especially like I said, a high blessing Volcanos. Very, very nice champion. He's gonna be up for grabs as well. And then we have our next champion here. We have the cat. We have the cat here. Nice spirit affinity damage dealer here. Speed in all battles. Good base attack. Good base stats overall. Good kit overall. Kind of synergizes really well. Passive effect that places Veil as an active effect on his passive that also prevents his death. Places block damage on himself when he gets P. Also self buffs himself with increased attack and gets extra turns when he kills somebody. Big AoE attack there. He's got a nice triple hit here on the A2. And then his attacks actually scale off of attack and speed, which is interesting. And then his A1 here is really, really nice. When he's under Veil, he attacks all enemies, and A1 super hard. So really scary champion, especially if you can't deal with him. He might be a big surprise as well because you can't kill him in one hit most of the time. So he's going to be up for grabs as well. Up next, we have Graco's Turn Drake. Was the guarantee for the Deck of Fate not too long ago. Big thing about him is that he brings a 3-turn AoE decreased defense with the AoE block buffs. He also has a 3-turn increased defense block damage. Very, very nice. And his passive also provides some passive damage boost your entire team as well. Good base stats. I mean, for an legendary, he is pretty basic, but he does some pretty nice basic things, right? So if you have him, I mean, you can use him as a decreased defense champion, but he also buffs your whole team as well for more damage. And if you're progressing through the game, AoE decreased defense with the block buffs, very solid. And of course, the increased defense and block damage is also very solid. Up next, we have Priva the Slitherer. Priva the Slitherer came into the game at the same time as Greycoast. She's kind of similar to Ancora. I kind of compare her to a Force Affinity Ancora here. Speed in all battles here. It's got an A1 transfer debuffs, got an A2 big heal, increased defense, increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown, so that's pretty solid. And she has a single target revive here with the full reset on the skills, same as Ancora. Very decent support champion. Has a passive here that kind of acts like Ancora as well, except it takes one random debuff from each ally, and it doesn't transfer the RCC, but it'll take other debuffs. So I think Ancora is a little bit more, stable. Like you kind of just know what you're gonna get out of her, but for Priva, you don't know, but you get a little bit more value because then you can cleanse some debuffs off your entire team instead of just one enemy, one champion, for example. So I would probably prefer Ancora, but Priva is still very, very good progression champion. Good base stats overall. 110 base speed here for Priva, so looking very nice. And then lastly, for our non-voids here, we got Duchess, Lilitu, Duchess, A1 shield. Got the A2 block debuff, increase attack, and predict Veil on your whole. Still very nice, very annoying. And Veil very, very useful for like Chimera to handle the trials. But it does bring the team-wide revive here with the Veil and P percentage passive with AoE damage mitigation. Still a very good support champion, still a very good carry, especially game. Now moving on to the Void champions, we have Chalco. Chalco here, Chalco the Blind, very, very good champion, very good damage dealer, especially in Hydra actually. He places increased accuracy on your whole team. He also brings decreased speed against all enemies. And the big thing about him is that he places decreased defense, and then he spreads all these nasty debuffs around. But his passive makes him immune to these hard CCs. And when an attempt is made to land hard CC against him, he will instantly activate his A2. And obviously, if you're up against the Head of Torment, which lands the fears all the times against him, he will be triggering this like crazy, which means the enemy will be constantly, hit with this, and it hits really hard. And then also the debuff spread, so he's just applying a ton of debuffs, doing a ton of damage against the Hydra. So actually, he's really, really good for that role. Obviously, you can use him in arena and stuff like that, block passive skill. Good. But because he's spraying so much debuffs, you have to be worried about like all that and getting wanded or anything like that. But he's going to be up for grabs here on day 2. Also, for the Void legendaries, we have Inithwe, Blood Twin. He had a little bit of a heyday or resurrection back when Live Arena was a thing. He does bring the block revive. Where's block revive? Passive. Enemies killed by this champion cannot be revived. Yeah, so his passive is very strong. He has really good passive where he just block revives on anybody he kills. But the problem is his multiplier is not super high. Look at his base attack, crazy high base attack, but he has multipliers, so that's kind of his thing. He has Void Affinity, so that's kind of nice for a damage dealer, but unfortunately, just hard. But you never know. You can gear him out to be insane, and he would be a pretty big threat. But right now, he's just not easy to build for the average person. And lastly, for the Void Champions here, we have Traxa, multi-hit, kind of he's supposed to be a damage dealer, decent multi-hitter. You got a 4 quad attack on the A1, ignore enemy defense. Unfortunately, her multipliers are not very high as well, so she's not going to be super hard unless you have her built out to pretty crazy. Good thing is she is Void Affinity as well. Another single target attack here on the A2, placing Weaken, and then she places Revive on Death on herself as a passive, which is pretty cool. But the big thing about her is that she does have a quad hit A1, and it does ignore quite a bit of enemy defense. But yeah, her multiplier is just not hard hitting. Anyways, guys, like I said, just save your shards. These progressive events are pretty big scam events. The likelihood of you getting any of these champions that you desire is very low. For the non-voids, probably 5%, maybe less. For the void champions, you're probably looking at about 18%, somewhere around there, but still relatively low. But in any event, you should be saving those shards anyways, because we have a big weekend ahead of us. So just wait a couple more days, and then we'll have a more clear picture of what the weekend looks like. But it's probably going to be a big shard event. All right, guys, CVC tomorrow, progressives tomorrow. Also, April's nullify no longer works on bosses, or will not work on bosses. So make sure you guys factor that in if you want her or not. You guys are all caught up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time as always. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning to do. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.